What's going on, guys? It's Daniel from CoinSpots here. Happy Friday. Enjoying the last day of the week. Going to be doing a update on Bitcoin per usual. We're always looking at Bitcoin. Alts not really moving too much. Nothing is really moving too much. Even Bitcoin is in pretty much a huge chop zone right now, so I'm actually just staying out of it. Don't have any trades. Just sitting on the sidelines right now and watching. Then we're going to go into two pieces of news. Bittrex launching USD and the IMF basically calling for more crypto regulations. So right now we're on the 1 hour chart here on Bittrex, and we see this swing high is really what I've been paying attention to for the past couple hours, I'd say 76.50-ish, and we see that 1, 2, 3 stretches to that level. So this 76.50 level is the swing high that I'm really paying attention to, because we couldn't get above the April 3rd swing high on the daily. And if we just go back here real quick, we can see that these two daily candles broke through that April 3rd swing high, yet did not close, or they did close below them. And I previously said I opened up a short here with the target of this swing high that had confluence with the 786 fib level. However, we seem to be getting some kind of bull support at this, random level right here, which is interesting because it just makes this a total chop zone, and none of my trade targets have been hit. But one thing I did want to point out was these kind of divergences on the smaller time frames, the 1 hour to the 4 hour. And right now I'm just using the OBV oscillator. You can also use the RSI to see this, but basically this is your standard bearish divergence where price is making a higher high, or it's basically trending upward, and your indicator, whether that's the OBV or the RSI, is trending downward. So you can see with these arrows, it's easier to see the divergence. You can, even if you put it on the line chart, it's a bit easier. Right here and right here, you can see the arrows going in different directions. This one is a bit less obvious, I guess you could say. It's not as clear as this one, but this was also a divergence I was looking at. And you can see pretty much right when the volume ticks down to the negative, we just drop off. And if I do the kind of arrow here, you can kind of see that right there. And this is just, one of the tools I use when looking at shorter term trades. Divergences are definitely really helpful to kind of predict at least short-term sell-off. And pretty much, as you can see, for the past couple days, we've just been in this crazy chop zone. Huge moves down, huge moves up, down. So really, overall, I'm still relatively bearish in the short term. So I am looking for shorting opportunities. However, as I said, right now, I'm just sticking out on the sidelines and waiting for a good setup to come to me. I'm not kind of forcing any trades. So that's really what I'm looking at. And if we go out to the monthly candle, actually, because May just ended, we can see that monthly candle closed bearish, but not really too much information you can get from this monthly time frame. But we're going to see where this next monthly candle ends up. But as I said, overall, not really doing anything right now in terms of trading. Don't really see any good setups. Not much to say about that. A lot of people are kind of just wondering what the heck is going on. I've been kind of gathering that consensus from, Twitter, Telegram, Discord, and kind of, all the chat rooms that I'm in. And pretty much people are just, they're tired of this stuff going down ever since the beginning of the year. And I mean, I know a lot of people have been kind of pointing out how 2018 is kind of similar to the 2013 fractal, chart pattern in terms of at least the length of this bearish market. So we'll definitely see if that plays out. But for me, I think the bottom is going to be in when you see that huge sell-off, right? That huge sell-off and then a just gigantic bull candle come up on the daily, like we've seen on previous dips back in 2017 on the bull run dips. Like, for example, when we topped out at like 5 or 6K, dipped to 3K, and then you just saw that perfect V reversal pattern, huge bullish candle coming up with a long wick on the previous candle showing people just bought that dip up. And really, that's kind of the sign that I'm looking for the low to be in. But in terms of when that's going to happen, nobody knows. And it's like people are just getting like super antsy right now. At least people who are in the space, just investing and kind of casually in the space and not really trading or margin trading and stuff like that. So they all want to do something, right? They want to trade. They want to make some money, but the market is really just going sideways and down for the past months, I should say, ever since January. So really, it's an interesting state that we're in right now for Bitcoin. And I'd say for the most part, just stick to the sidelines and hold off if you're not comfortable trading or, taking any, or you're not sure on what positions to take, because times like this where, stuff isn't really going on, there's no big moves, people just want to do something. And most of the time, the best route to take is actually just not to do anything and to wait it out. So that's kind of my 2 cents here on Bitcoin. Not taking any trades. We're going to see what happens during the weekend and come back on Monday with a fresh outlook for the week on the close of the weekly candle on Sunday. So moving on, we've got Bittrex launching USD pairings. So they've actually gone through regulatory compliance and have a bank, and they can now, or you can now, well, I shouldn't say you because this doesn't apply to everyone. Only big traders in like a few states, like I believe it was like New York, California, Montana, something like that. Corporate traders, that's what it is. Corporate traders in Washington, California, New York, and Montana can make fiat deposits. So unfortunately for the rest of us retail traders, this is not a feature open to us yet. However, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise because different states have different rules and compliance stuff that, these exchanges have to follow. That's why, a couple days ago when we were discussing Coinbase getting a federal bank charter and how much easier that would make, or how much easier life would be for Coinbase if they actually got a federal bank charter, because they wouldn't have to worry about the know your customer compliance rules and just basically all of the regulatory rules that are different from state to state. So this is kind of what Bittrex is going through right now. They've got the deal done, but they've got to wait this out in order until retail traders are able to, start using this feature. In terms of what I think about it, I don't think it's necessarily bullish or bearish news. It's just something that was inevitably coming. I know Binance is also, trying to get regulatory compliant with whatever bank they're, going for to accept US dollar deposits. And I think this is just kind of a trend that you're going to see in 2018 as well. In addition to, regulatory stuff that we talked about yesterday, is just these altcoin exchanges pairing altcoins with USD, which is going to make trading a little bit different because right now we all know altcoins are pegged to Bitcoin. And basically, the way that works is the altcoin versus Bitcoin chart shows which coin is a better investment, basically, right? So even if your altcoin goes up $10, that's with respect to the USD value, but with respect to the Bitcoin value, it would go down if Bitcoin went up more than your altcoin, right? So basically, from a trading perspective, that's why you always focus on BTC value, because the altcoin chart with respect to Bitcoin shows whether you would have made more money holding Bitcoin, because if your altcoin goes down with respect to Bitcoin, that means if you just held Bitcoin, you would be making more money. And that would be a bad trade. Even though you're profitable in USD value, you are not profitable with respect to Bitcoin, right? So I think traders are always going to be using the BTC charts because of the ultimate goal to accumulate more Bitcoin. But for retail traders and people who are just investing in the space and are just casually in the crypto community, which I would say is the majority of people, this USD option is going to make things a little bit easier, honestly, for regular people who might be confused, or actually a lot of people are confused with the BTC pairings of altcoins, and to just be able to, buy your favorite altcoin with US dollar is definitely going to be something that's going to probably attract some more people, especially, people moving from Coinbase, and, they basically discover, there's more altcoins than there's more cryptocurrencies than just Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. So this is, I think, just going to make kind of that user interface easier for retail traders that are looking to invest in altcoins. But I don't think this is going to have, too much of an impact really on the space as a whole. But it's just something that was inevitably coming, USD pairings to altcoins. So yeah. Lastly, we're going to be talking about the IMF, so International Monetary Fund, basically calling for regulation on cryptocurrency. And the reason I found this article interesting is with this quote right here. Basically, it states, that means rigorously applying measures to prevent money laundering and financing of terrorism, strengthening consumer protection, and effectively taxing cryptocurrency transactions. So basically, this was a quote by the deputy director of the IMF calling for why crypto needs more regulation. And I find this interesting because big banks and now the IMF are finally, starting to see crypto as a threat to them, which obviously, as we know, cryptocurrency is fundamentally based on opposition to, centralized banks and third parties holding money. So, this quote just kind of makes me chuckle because he kind of diverts the argument by saying, money laundering, terrorism, right? Taxing crypto transactions. So stuff that we've heard countless times before about cryptocurrency as a reason to implement more regulation, when really the central idea behind it is, IMF and banks are scared about the competition cryptocurrencies pose to them, because I think they know very well that the majority of the population doesn't really like banks, right? We only use banks because it's convenient for us to deposit our money, and it's relatively secure. Hoping that the bank doesn't go out and trade our funds or invest in something risky, aka 2008 financial crisis, right? But as a whole, putting money in banks is the most convenient option, because you don't really want to store it under your mattress because potential of getting robbed, etc., etc. That's why cryptocurrencies fill in that void. And by saying stuff like this, it really kind of shows me how scared these big banks and the IMF is getting about crypto. And that's really interesting, because especially in a time like this where a lot of people are, losing hope in crypto because of the months and months of downtrend. I think if you look at the news, and obviously you have to be wary of, super clickbaity, titles and stuff like that, which are really prevalent, especially in times like this. Really looking at what companies are doing, right? Like we discussed how banks and hedge funds and stuff like that were opening hundreds of cryptocurrency trading desks, right? If crypto wasn't something that they thought was going to be profitable, these hundreds of cryptocurrency trading desks wouldn't be opening, right? They're not going to put money into something that they don't believe in, or they don't believe is going to grow in the future. Just like anybody who states negative comments about cryptocurrency, there's always something behind it. They know what is coming from crypto, and that's why they're trying to prepare themselves for it. But as we all know, if banks don't start adopting crypto and basically accepting it, they're the ones that are going to be left behind in this cryptocurrency revolution. So this is something really, really interesting to see, and it kind of just makes me pretty bullish on crypto in the future, despite these unfortunate winter months we've been having ever since the beginning of the year. But as we talked about, in a couple videos prior, the whole divergence between tech and price, and how technology within crypto is going through the roof and price is going down. That divergence, there's gonna have to be a convergence sometime in the future where price catches up to where the technology is. And that's when we're going to see the next big altcoin season. And I cannot wait for that. So, other than that, as always, going to be watching Bitcoin throughout the weekend, see what's going on with it. But that's the end of the episode for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like the video, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on Monday. See ya.